contrarian, leave it to contrarian badass Reggie Middleton. He called the housing crash. He called the collapse of Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers and the crisis in the Eurozone banking system.
Reggie Middleton.
And they rise to the top of the socioeconomic ladder. But socioeconomic stratification is a reality. That's a fancy term for powerful, weak, rich, or poor. It's a reality. Now, it works both ways. It's not just the individual who's used to doing things a certain way, but the oligarchical entities as well. So if you go to Silicon Valley, maybe 40 years ago, 40, 50 years ago, pre-Hewlett-Packard, really didn't exist in the way it does now. It was, basically just California, dirt and palm trees, etc. Post the HP era, the large venture capital firms, post the Great Recession, where you had low interest rates and this, deluge of capital at close to zero rates, money being slushed around. There's a lot of money that came in, which created a lot of wealth, selectively invested in certain firms that did very well. But a mindset was created, old boys network, an oligarch, this oligarchical network, which was formed to displace the oligarchical network before that, because these are the guys who gave capital to firms who couldn't get capital normally, created their own barriers, and they now don't give capital to certain concerns. To be absolutely honest, I'm one of those concerns. I couldn't get venture capital, even though I felt I had a strong track record, a phenomenal idea, and at least
because you're going against the grain, the establishment,
right? But many of the entities that they funded went against certain establishments. Much of Silicon Valley probably would not mind bumping heads with the people on the other coast, the New York guys here,
right? And
certain entities they funded. I saw this as an opportunity, believe it or not. I was hungry, didn't have money, but in being selective in who you fund, and that selectivity is based upon things other than meritorious capability. That means you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Okay.
But isn't it natural though? I mean, when you span history, when you look out through our time, isn't it human to be resistant? Where human has always resisted change,
right.
And so whether it's an individual or whether it's a company or whether it's a government or it's an industry, where history has always shown society has always resisted,
right?
Evolving to the next level. And so, for example, let's use, you see the pushback with in the shared economy, Uber and Lyft. You see the pushback with Airbnb. Okay, it took. I think it's the Hilton resort, hotel company. It took them 93 years to build 600,000 hotel rooms.
Right.
It took Airbnb 4 years to build 650,000 lodging units.
Right.
And so it just, you can see why, where those who have something to lose in terms of their market share, their market footprint, they're going to try to put up barriers to resist that, because you're now looking to, you are a pioneer. You're disrupting the normal course and the normal way of doing things. And so Reggie Middleton is going to make the case, you can resist today, but you're going to have to deal with me. It's unavoidable. You're going to have to deal with me at some point.
Right.
And that's what I'm understanding, that a lot of these financial service companies are resistant, but now they're finding themselves where they now have to embrace these other smaller players and technological players, because they realize their legacy product doesn't work.
Right. Now be aware, the tale that I was telling is not a tale of right and wrong or good or bad. It's basically, the lay of land, a foundational fact. The fact that it's human nature to resist change is good in a way. By resisting change, you guarantee change. Okay.
Eloquently said.
Yeah. The only thing that remains the same is change. So the Silicon Valley entities who felt that they should invest in Veritaseum, etc., forced Veritaseum to adapt, die or survive. But in doing that, they leave a lot of value on the table. When you leave that value on the table, then somebody or something eventually will come up, pick up that value. When that value becomes significant, then it forces change. That's why you have cycles. That's why those who are on top of the socioeconomic ladder are on top for a while, but they can never stay on top in perpetuity because they resist change. Microsoft was the first technology company that I know of that survived 2 paradigm shifts. The first paradigm shift was the move into microcomputers, the PC. And they started that, okay? Created a multi-billionaire et al. With Bill Gates and his crew. Then the internet came. Normally that wipes out everybody from the period before. Microsoft was able to adapt and adapted too forcefully, so the government called them back, which they should have, by the way. I don't disagree with that at all. And Microsoft is still.
But didn't they survive because they had the technological infrastructure to sustain themselves?
They did, and
because if they didn't, it would have become obsolete.
They had that, but so did many other entities who died and didn't have to. Microsoft attempted to embrace change.
So that was the difference.
Right. They took the internet. They tried to fold the internet into the operating system, but exclude everybody else. So they understood what was going on.
Right.
That's why they're still around. But they're not on top anymore. The most popular OS in the world is not Windows anymore. Do you know what it is?
No, what is it?
Android. You're holding one right now. I got one here, you got one right there.
Android is more popular than
everything else, including
iPhone?
Much more popular than iPhone.
You wouldn't get that impression talking to a lot of people, because I sometimes I get this pushback of, oh well, you're not a real, you're an Android user. You need to be an iPhone user. And I'm like, what's wrong with me being an Android user? And it's you have iPhone, the clan or the cult.
Right.
I call it.
There's very few people who could disagree with that. You might not like it,
exactly,
but you can't disagree with it.
But I'm like you. I don't follow the herd because everybody's talking about the iPhone. That means I have to go with the iPhone.
Yeah.
I'm going to, I think, respond to where it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And the Android, to me, was a natural, I naturally gravitated towards it.
No, it's interesting you say that. Android has about roughly 89% of the global market share. They have
89?
89. They have almost all of it. Okay?
You wouldn't get that.
Apple has that 11% left. It's Apple and everybody else. It's not just Apple. Apple has a share with everybody else.
Wow.
Apple and iOS, they market like you would not believe. So,
So that's the impression you get.
So,
I see.
I can walk out of the cameras, come sit down, right? Hello, my name is Reggie. I am the wealthiest man in the world, the best looking, and I have 15,000 beautiful women sitting outside.
Wow.
Okay? If I say that correctly, in the right way, you believe me. It's not a single woman out there waiting for me.
There's nobody out there.
I think I'm pretty good looking, don't get me wrong. There's a partial truth to that, right?
Exactly.
But the reality of the situation is, marketing is not fact. It doesn't have to be fact. It just has to work.
Yep.
So Apple is very good at marketing. I've learned from the technological difference between, these new Samsung devices. This is a Galaxy SA Plus. It blows every Apple device out of the water, totally, for less money, actually. But the reason why Apple sells is they market. So I've learned to market myself. I've learned to market my ventures. And hopefully one day I can replicate, at least in part, the success that Apple has. There's a big difference between success and having the best technology.
Right.
Beta versus VHS. These discussions go on and on. Even Windows. When Windows came out, I used to use something called GeoWorks, which was a better graphical overlay, but Microsoft marketed better.
I'm here at the headquarters of, now I'm going to try it again. You came with the word, so you can say it better than I. Veritaseum.
Veritaseum.
Veritaseum. Veritaseum, right. And Reggie Middleton is the founder of this company. He's the CEO as well. And according to Middleton, UltraCoin exploits modern cryptography in the fields of finance, economics, and value transfer to the disintermediate legacy financial institutions such as Wall Street banks. Now, in February of 2013, Reggie won the CBS first ever stock draft competition. Congratulations.
CNBC.
Beating out 6 other professional traders. He went on to win the second CNBC stock draft in 2014 by an even larger margin, beating out all other professional participants. This is the guy that wanted to be president, by the way. So it shouldn't surprise you that the guy was just kicking butt up, whatever he did, you know. And but he's made a reputation for himself. Reggie Middleton is known for making predictions about the crash of markets and large financial institutions long before they occur. Aaron Elstein of Crane's New York business said, Mr. Middleton has been startlingly accurate in the past. He forecast the collapse of the housing market in 2007. You also, in the early 2008 warned of the demise of Bear Stearns weeks before it happened. And earlier this year, you said that Ireland finances were in terrible shape long before Standard & Poor's got around to downgrading the nation's credit rating. Do you have like a crystal ball or something? How do you know this? How do you predict it? I know we need to take a break. When we come back after this break, we'll continue that. But I need to know, what is your secret? That secret sauce. Do you have a crystal ball somewhere that you pull out to really to predict this? This is Anthony Weeks for the Marketplace here at the headquarters of Reggie Middleton in downtown Manhattan, in Midtown Manhattan, off of Broadway. This is the Marketplace. We'll be right back.